Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? We'll keep this a little bit simple. That game meant nothing, okay? That game meant absolutely nothing. It was a little fun because it was so new and you just saw a whole new crew out there. It felt like guys battling for a spot, right? So they were playing with some intensity because they were fighting to show coach that, hey, I deserve to be in the playoffs, and they want to fight for some playoff minutes. It was fun from that aspect. It was fun to see guys matched up with Devin Booker, to see what Matisse Thybulle could do, although he did get into some foul trouble, even though the refs did not help him at all. You saw some frustration, but ultimately, I liked seeing him battle up against a player like that, watch some other wing guys try to keep Devin Booker from scoring. And all around, I thought when it comes to him, look, offense is going to score points. That's how the NBA works. You saw Dame Lillard, by the way, drop 60 plus, and so many people came after me when I said, some guys just score. I'm not saying that Brett Brown's philosophy isn't flawed, because defensively, I think his philosophy is flawed. But when guys like Dame Lillard drop 60 plus, that's just because these guys are so talented, and they do that against everyone. Go look at Dame Lillard's game log. He consistently does this against teams. So when someone waxes the Sixers, not TJ Warren, okay? I know that he had some points scored in the bubble, but ultimately TJ Warren is a guy that you can get frustrated about. Let's use James Harden as an example. If James Harden drops 57 on the Sixers, James Harden drops 50 plus on everyone, right? That's how the NBA works. There's guys who just score. So with Devin Booker, even though you look at it and you say, oh, well, he had 35 points and he shot 11 to 24. Well, that 11 to 24 was some hard work for him. He did get to the free throw line about 12 times, and that's why he did make up some points there. All around, though, when you look at context and when you look at how the game was played, he really had to earn those points. I thought for what the 76ers were dealing with roster-wise in this game, they did everything they possibly could. They battled, they hung in there, they competed, and that's all you could ask for. It was a little bit of a snooze, but at the same time, I was a little bit intrigued just based off of the whole new scenario, the whole new look, and just, hey, what can you guys do? You show me what you got, right? Show me, go compete, let's see what you got. And from there, that's where the little entertainment came from. The little entertainment value that was there, that is where I looked at it and go, all right, let's sit down and watch this game. You know, no Tobias Harris, no Josh Richardson, no Joel Embiid, no starting crew except for Shake Milton. That's what you're going to see out of these teams at this point. That is reality. They are treating this as, hey, let's get to the playoffs. Let's get to the postseason. And I don't really knock them. At this point, your team is what it is. And I think that's fair to say. At this point, your team is not going to get much better, get much flow. This is your team at this point heading into the postseason. So why risk anything? And I really question what they're going to do for tomorrow's game against the Toronto Raptors. What are the Raptors going to do? I can't imagine them going full out, all out with 2 games to go just because it's a big matchup on paper if they're already thinking about resting guys and making sure that they're ready for the postseason. Plus, I don't think you want to give away any sort of strategy when it comes to what these teams are going to utilize in the postseason. So with that being said, I'm curious to see, will they throw Joel Embiid out there and have him play a little bit, or is he shut down completely? Will Al Horford play? Will Tobias play? Will these players play? And will you see any of the Toronto Raptors players going out as well? When you look at the seeding, does it make much sense for that to happen? Probably not. And it's a shame because from the fans' perspective, it makes it not as fun to sit down and watch the game. But we'll see what happens. It is what it is. You got to accept this. And this happens all the time. This happens literally every season when it comes down to game 79, game 80, game 81, when teams are already solidified in a certain spot when it comes to the playoffs. It's normal. This isn't anything crazy. This isn't anything stunning and shocking. This is what you see all the time. By the way, this episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. They offer flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So make sure you check out their information. The link is in the description. So a couple guys had some nice nights. Mike Scott, you think he did enough to show Brett, hey, I deserve to be in the lineup? Mike Scott stunk all year. He finished with 17 points. He played a very limited amount of minutes. He took control of a matchup that I thought he could take control of based off of his size, and he made some buckets. Realistically, he has struggled. He hasn't been able to bend that spark plug all season long, except for the end. He was turning it around just a bit before the stoppage happened. I don't know where Mike Scott fits. I do think that he has a chance now because Ben Simmons being out, Al Horford being that 4. Is it possible that now he is your backup 4? It's going to be based off matchups, of course. It's going to be based off of their opponents and what's out on the floor. So it's possible that he will be utilized. With Ben Simmons being the 4 originally, though, with him in the lineup, I didn't know if I saw much of Mike Scott when it came to the bench. The problem is I don't know if I could base this 17-point performance in 22 games and go, okay, Mike Scott's back. He's hurt this team a lot this season. He's been an issue for this team a lot for this season. And if he's not going to be able to turn it around legitimately and play good basketball, he's not going to help whatsoever. Keep in mind, the amount of minutes that he would get, not a lot, because these starters are going to intensify their minutes by a ton. Although Al Horford being the 4, starting 4, older guy, is he maybe playing less minutes because of his age? You can question that. And some of his minutes are also going to be at the 5 for when Joel Embiid is on the bench, which is probably going to be somewhere between 10 to 12 minutes. So that allows a spot for the 4. But I've already mentioned maybe that's Tobias Harris' spot, and they slide him down and then throw someone like Glenn Robinson III at that wing position, or Matisse Thybulle, or Alec Burks. You have a ton of wing players you can slide in there. Or maybe it is Mike Scott. I don't know. I think that Brett Brown looks at him as this veteran player that he truly respects, and because he respects him and he's been here and he's been around the league and he's experienced playoff basketball, that he's going to give him a shot, and from there, if he can't make the most of it, maybe that's when he doesn't go back to Mike Scott. But he's going to have to shorten this bench. I know he keeps talking about 9. I don't want to see 9. I think you need to get 8. This team isn't deep enough to throw 9 at you. And there's not enough minutes. There's not enough minutes for these players to play. And when I say they're not deep enough, they have players that everyone's all questioning. Yo, look, they have all these wing players. What are they going to do? I don't trust all these wing players. I don't trust the Furkan Korkmazes of the world. And I know he's going to get time, but it's frustrating for me to see him because I think he's going to hurt this team. I'm already calling it. There's going to be a game where Furkan has a Furkan game where he knocks down maybe 4 threes or even 5 threes. Maybe I'll even give him 5 threes. There's going to be that one Furkan Korkmaz game that gets all the haters over to me. Bro, you're an idiot. But for that game that he goes off, all the other ones are going to be bad. So there's going to be a good one, but there's going to be some bad ones as well. And I don't think that one good outweighs the terrible bad. He's going to have the shortest leash ever. I do think that he adds something to this team that they don't have by default. By default, he might have to have that 1 to 2 minute spurt, and if it's bad, he's out of there real quick. Just by default, because the roster isn't constructed with good enough three-point shooting. But I'm telling you, that leash needs to be so tight. I'm talking electric collar kind of thing, where once he gets destroyed, dare I say 2 times on the defensive end, he gets shocked and then gets to run to the bench and sit down. And once he sits down, the shock stops. I'm nuts, I know. Burks, another night shooting the basketball, giving 23 points for the fellas. To me, he's your 6th man. It's that simple. Although I keep seeing Furkan being the 6th man. This game, you don't really know much in terms of rotation because it's all over the place and wonky. But you've seen Furkan be that first man off the bench for Brett Brown. And I think that should go to Alec Burks, honestly. He's a bucket getter when things look a little sloppy, ugly. Look a little sloppy offensively and ugly offensively, and realistically that tends to happen with this basketball team. But he gave you 23 points. How about this Kyle OQuinn thing, talking about Furkan Korkmaz? He was 1 bucket away from a triple-double. He had 9 points. His stat line was 9, 10, and 11. And with 45 seconds or so left in the game, Furkan was by the perimeter. Here he's doing his fake shot attempts while you have Kyle OQuinn wide the hell open underneath the basket. Not a soul in sight. He did not dish it to him for the big man veteran to get that triple-double. And it's a bad look by Furkan. You got to be more aware than that. I know that might sound silly, but I would say that if it was anyone, it's not just because it's Furkan I'm saying this. You need to be more aware. When you're in the pros, like there's respect out there in this league, and when there's someone like Kyle OQuinn who has an opportunity to get a triple-double, it almost felt like, and I'm not even lying to you, it almost felt like the Suns were saying, hey, give him the ball, Furkan. They almost essentially allowed him to be wide open there for a second because it was almost as if they knew, hey, let's get this guy that triple-double. And Furkan, here he is, pump faking. Dude, give the man the ball. I was even screaming, give the man the ball. I know it sounds silly, but really, come on, man. You got to understand that. You do. And after the game, Kyle OQuinn tried to make it seem like, hey, I don't care. I'm more of a team guy, I'm not selfish, yada, yada, yada. He gave you the player speak, but we all know when you're a veteran like that and you're a man that doesn't have these many chances to get a triple-double. And by the way, can we talk about that? Here's a big man with how many assists, how many dimes, how many times was he hitting that guy cutting backdoor? I will say, for what it was, you had guys moving around. You had the offense moving around at times. Guys were cutting, guys were moving. It was like, whoa, what's going on here? This is kind of fun. This is kind of intriguing. People were actually moving around, cutting the baseline, doing the thing. But for Kyle OQuinn to have the ball in his spots, be at the elbow, bang, bounce, pass perfectly, hitting guys, it was fun to watch Kyle OQuinn throw the basketball around, running the offense a little bit there in the half-court set, making plays happen. Kyle OQuinn, the veteran. And I think I brought this story up before, but when I was covering the games for 97.3 ESPN, when I would go there way before the game started to watch the guys warm up, and I'd be right underneath the baseline watching them work and get ready for the game, Kyle OQuinn, and this is when he wasn't playing at all, the amount of work he put in was insane. Sweating his ass off, battling with Roy Hibbert, the coach, Roy Hibbert, every single game, giving it everything he had in these pregame warm-ups. It was before the warm-ups, really. I mean, it was so early, and he was battling. He was putting in all the effort, and it was crazy. But I was sitting there admiring just the fact of this is a veteran. This is a veteran professional basketball player who realistically probably isn't thrilled with his minutes in the NBA right now. It's not like he's playing much. Probably not thrilled, but he's making sure that I'm going to work just in case I ever get my number called. So in regards to what this means for this season, it means nothing. But in terms of how I admire him as an athlete and just admire the work ethic that comes from these veteran players that have been in the league for so damn long, it says a lot. No doubt, it just says a lot. And that's why when I watch him play in a game like this, I'm like rooting for him. I'm like, yeah, baby, I've seen you put in that post play. I've seen you do some damage against Roy Hibbert and sweating your balls off before a game. Making sure you're mentally prepared and physically prepared in case your number does get caught. I like Kyle OQuinn a bit for a very limited role. Not this season because I need an 8-man rotation. And with Joel and Al Horford and a healthy Ben Simmons, there's no time for a Kyle OQuinn in the playoffs. But in general, the guy that you want in your locker room, without a doubt. I would have liked more from Shake Milton. I know he had some assists, but in 31 minutes, I didn't think he provided enough offensively, and I wish he was better at passing. I just think he's a lazy passer. And from someone that we want to run the offense and be the primary ball handler, I would like to see stronger passes. Come on, man. Do a little bit more with those passes. Now, he's getting assists, and he's getting numbers when it comes to assists. But if you watch the game, lazy, not inbound passes, but I'm drawing a blank here. Not inbound passes. Come on, bro. Let's get your mind together. That Phillies game is totally destroying my mind right now. But when someone's in the post, and you're passing the basketball into him, can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But you're putting someone in the post. Give the basketball to him. None of this soft, stupid little lob, soft baby little lob. Come on, man. Pass the ball. Pass it. Glenn Robinson III had some run. How about Raul Neto? Giving you a little offense. Creating. I know Raul Neto's a hate to face for a lot of people in this city. He's your standard traditional point guard, giving you a little pick, going around the pick, finding the big man. He's your classic 2001 point guard, your 1997 type point guard. Little guy dribbling the ball, just looking for the open teammates. But in this one, he was also providing some spark with the scoring as well. I was trying to see if he was going to take over in the fourth and really dominate the game. Could you imagine if he went off for 42 and won the basketball game? It's hard to do that, though, when guys on the other team played with some fire, because there were some pissed-off players on the other side. Mikal Bridges, Dario Saric. Mikal Bridges had 24. Saric had 18 and 9. And to be fair, I wanted Mikal Bridges, but, all the reaction of, we could have had Mikal, and we could have had him. I can't believe it after a night like this. Tobias Harris is by far a better basketball player than Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is a nice role player, but remember, that whole trade happened, and you ended up getting Tobias Harris. Say what you want, Tobias Harris is a better basketball player than Mikal Bridges. I like Mikal Bridges, but it's not the same. Not the same. Tobias Harris, different type of player. Now, Toby's not some elite game changer, but when you have Ben and Joel, he's your complementary piece. And with that complimentary piece, he's good. He's good for that role without a doubt. I don't want to hear that nonsense because I know what's coming. They limited the turnovers to 9. You would think with players like this, it would be a little sloppy at times. The ball would be going all over the place, but no, not at all. Now, support for Sports Talk with Bros is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in the men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. LED lights, okay? Quiet stroke technology because they upgraded their 7,000 RPM motor. 90 minutes the battery lasts up to. You can do it in the shower. The charging dock, USB. I'm telling you, you want to make sure you are clean down there, and this Lawnmower 3.0 will allow you to do it. Get that razor. Get it going. This thing works beautifully. Make sure you are trimmed down there. I'm telling you, your balls will thank you. Trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BROD. So I honestly don't know what to expect for the rest of the way. It could be like this. It probably is going to be like this. And it is what it is. You're just going to have to sit through it until they get to the real stuff. I'd be shocked if you see a real battle against Toronto. But I guess anything is possible. And to be honest, I'm somewhat rooting for it. I want to see a little something. Maybe just a quarter. Maybe it's the first half of some guys. I would be okay with seeing the first half of some guys, and then the second half, hey, let the benches go at it, let the benches play. But with both teams pretty much settled with where they're going to be, I don't know. Is it worth it? The conditioning part of things, I know people want to bring that up. At this point, isn't it clear it is what it is? Isn't that essentially how it is? What you see right now with the team, not this team full of the bench, but when it's the team with Joel, Al Horford, Shake Milton, Josh Richardson, and Tobias, what are these 2-3 games going to do? Here's your answer. It's going to do nothing. I want to know if you've even watched the game, and if you did, how involved were you with it? Did you have fun with it? Were you intrigued? You can comment down below. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast or any other podcasting platform, you can use the review system on the podcast to actually reply, and I love to read your comments there as well. So I want to know what you thought about this. Are you all out as if you're not even turning the television on? It's not worth your time. Or is it on and you're somewhat following it because, hey, you want to see what Shake Milton does. Hey, you want to see how Glenn Robinson III looks. You want to see how Alec Burks, Mike Scott play because you want to see them battle for a spot and show the coach, hey, look, I deserve minutes in the postseason. You want to see how they are going to play with a little bit of pressure, let's say a tiny bit of pressure, to make sure that they can solidify some minutes when the game and the playoffs actually matter and intensify a bit. It's interesting, without a doubt. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.